This field, between Banbury Road and Gallows Hill in Warwick, is where developers plan to build up to 250 houses. As a long-time resident of Warwick, I object to this, and I've chosen video to explain my objection, as it's the best way of demonstrating its potential visual impacts. It's also a way to show progressions around the area, a serial approach, because that's how we see landscapes as we move through them. We're standing at the crest of Gallows Hill, at the heart of the development site. It was around here that 3 Catholics were martyred in the late 16th and early 17th centuries, and one of them, Robert Griswold, was buried here. The exact location of the gallows is not known, but by repute it was sited just about here, in the most prominent position, so that Warwick people could see that justice was being done. This point is key in my argument. The site has always been known to be supremely prominent, especially to anyone travelling south from Warwick. From this point on the Banbury Road you can see how much the strawberry field intrudes into the view. Imagine it full of houses. You couldn't hide them, could you? The site's visible from the castle and St Mary's Church tower and forms the backdrop to the view. No other site, presently considered for housing, would cause quite so much visual intrusion into an important view. There really is no way that landscaping would totally mask the rows of houses that would march up the hill here. Its development would certainly wreck the entrance to Warwick from the south. We are now travelling up Gallows Hill, with the Warwick Technology Park on the left. You can't see it because of the heavy landscaping, including earth mounds, that block the buildings from view. District Council planners worked with the developers to prevent the development being intrusive. It is a success, but it has a locational advantage over the development site because it's not so prominent and the embankments work. On our site, they wouldn't work. English Heritage warned about the impact the development of this site would have on the entrance to Warwick, and even the council's own landscape consultants warn against the impact of the development of this area. These concerns would have been expressed by many of the 3,500 objectors to the local plan, but it seems members have not had the chance to consider these yet. In the face of this, officers are pressing on with master plans that dismiss the concerns of experts and residents alike by continuing to earmark this site for development. It looks like it could be an abusive process, and it could open up the council to legal challenge. It is the damage caused to this approach to Warwick that most concerned English Heritage, and I agree with their opinion. This area has always been protected from development. The Grade 1 listed Castle Park is on our left. The Grade 1 listed Warwick Castle, its Grade 2 star Castle Bridge, and the Warwick Conservation Area lie just over a mile ahead. Our forefathers would recognise the layout here. It's substantially the same as it would have been at the end of the 18th century. The new Banbury Road had just been built by the Earl of Warwick, and it ran from the new Castle Bridge and headed south to skirt the park that was now expanded well beyond that created by Capability Brown. As we round the bend, a panorama of the approach to Warwick opens up, with our development site to our right. For 6 months every year, when the trees are without leaves, the houses on this site will mar the view. Imagine a succession of back gardens along the road here. The developers propose a widened tree belt, but English Heritage have said, even before this application was submitted, that we are not confident that even if development were 1 field depth back, reinforced by a narrow shelter belt, it would provide a sufficient response, as screening belts of trees are seldom effective in winter, even at 100 metres depth. They add, and we agree, the implication for the sense of arrival to Warwick, the setting of the park, the castle, and the conservation area, appears not to have been thoroughly considered. This is an important material consideration and therefore a serious omission. This entry to Warwick is a very conscious piece of landscape design. The Earl would have known very well the visual impact from cresting the rise to find this view spread out in front of his visitors. They would have then had to progress along the long straight via the new bridge over the Avon and past St. Nicholas Church to the castle. The spire of St. Nicholas is very important in this, as it is a landmark that closes the plan de vista. Many issues we face over this application stem from the shortcomings of the draft local plan. The need to conserve what is important in our heritage should have been a top priority in it, but it's hard even to find any reference to it at all. So land allocations appear to have been made without thought to its importance. We have been told that conservation and heritage will be considered in the next iteration of the plan, but that will be too late. The damage will have been done if developments such as this are allowed. At that stage, caring for heritage and conservation will be after the event, and could only be the application of sticking plaster after the injuries have been done. In this respect, English Heritage clearly feel that the plan falls short of the expectations of the NPPF by not caring for or planning to enhance the setting of the historic town and its nationally important assets. As English Heritage put it, you should be mindful of the cumulative impact of progressive encroachment into the rural landscape from the proposals of this plan and from ad hoc planning applications. The local plan needs to determine a coherent landscape policy. You haven't got this. And to stop the damage, you need to start by stopping this ruinous development, to which I object.